Spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moreover, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. One, yeah, Rastafari. Kiribamba, 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 kiribamba. What I want? This one you back today.
Spoon TV.
This one you back today.
Spoon TV. Spoon
Ba-da-ba-di-da-di-da. Skiddy-biddy-biddy-da-ba-do.
Spoon TV. Spoon Entertainment.
Kua. Bese kua today. Kua today.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of spoon television.
Your boy, a special one from the CEO, Stan Turner with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the South Band. Charges on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, to spoon you and no. The children crying for starvation. Just to spoon.
Okay, folks, I tell you, it's another great time to be here
To spoon.
on this 14th day of March,
To spoon.
8 o'clock Liberian time.
Teacher want to make their decision.
I'd like to say welcome to all of you across the world who have joined
You
us
want to know what happening in the ministry. To spoon.
to another edition of the program Spoon Talk, Liberia's premier
To spoon.
show on radio and online. So thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Nelson Colette. Joining us tonight, already on the screen, is James Goode Flomo. And I see Dr. Richardson has joined us. We're live on Fabric Radio 101.1, Super 95.5, and also on Spoon 107.5. And if you want to watch the show, you can go on Spoon TV Live, Fabric TV Live, Super TV Live. Of course, on YouTube, you can go to Spoon Talk Live. Let me say good evening to you, James, and good evening to Dr. Richardson as well.
Good evening.
Go ahead, James.
If this was in my village now, they would say you get something to give me.
Yeah.
If we were in Ghana, people would say you get something to give me.
I love those little traditions, you know. I really, and I would definitely hold myself to that. Because I say I would definitely would have held myself to that, to give you something, because I think those people they meant something when they said those things.
Good evening to you, Dr. Richardson and Nelson Colette.
Yeah, good evening, James. Good evening to Dr. Richardson as well. Dr. Richardson, that is it a mini studio? The lighting is very great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, this is actually, thank you. This is my office, my home office. This is where I work out of. So I have a bay window you can't see, so that's probably why I don't usually close my window. I leave it open. That's where we're getting the lighting from. Well, let me just see if you can see. See over here, that's just a window.
Yeah.
Now so I don't have So that's probably where we get like a lot of fun. I like light. I don't like curtains and all of that stuff. So my husband said that this might won't scare me. They just can't sit to the window, but can you imagine that? But that's okay. Well, today's a great day. 4 o'clock came so early. A mother's job is never done. As you probably know, I was mothering. I was working at the same time, writing psychological report, and just trying to. And I was being a wife. I was doing everything all at once, and then preparing for the show at the same time. So I don't know about you guys, but a mother's job, a woman's job is never done. It's ongoing. We don't just have one single task and then we're done. It's like always forever. So I don't know about you guys, but I want to just thank you guys for joining us. Salimatu just joined us. So let's go to some of the trending issues that you guys have to tell us today. And then I will definitely get an opportunity to say hi to our viewers today. I didn't do that yesterday. I want to quickly say hi to them. So Nelson, let's go to our viewers.
Okay, so today one thing that has taken over all of the happenings has been this issue yesterday from the happenings of Capitol Hill when Representative Gray went on the campus of the University of Liberia with some folks in the name of having lunch with the students, some of his scholarship students. Well, that has taken the center stage for discussion today. There has been a series of reactions to that. A lot of people have been condemning that. Well, the senators took the lead on that today when they condemned the Montreal County lawmakers for what they term as he instigating violence on the University of Liberia Capitol Hill campus. So that was a long-standing discussion today at the Liberian Senate, and a lot of the senators condemned the Montserrat County lawmaker for that. And so still on that issue,
What's the name of the lawmaker they condemned?
Representative Gray
Okay,
for yeah,
people.
Representative Akaras Gray
Okay.
for that action for his involvement with what happened yesterday. So but while that is happening, the Liberia National Police about an hour ago posted a statement on their page, um, stating that they've made some arrests with respect to what happened yesterday. So according to the Liberia National Police, they've arrested 6 students for rioting on the campus of the University of Liberia on the Capitol Hill campus of the University of Liberia. They went on to state the names of those students that were arrested today. 124. I don't know whether I should state the names or okay. So maybe you guys will go into that in details later on the show. So,
Mhm.
but the police said they've made some arrests in that line. They've arrested about 6 students for rioting today. For
Mhm.
rioting yesterday on the campus of the University of Liberia. Now, on the flip side, uh, the Montserrat County District 10 lawmaker, Representative Yeke Koluba, was spotted in session today with banana and some grumpy,
I saw that
uh,
picture.
yeah, banana. He was eating some banana and peanuts in session today. Well, but another important thing that happened today was that the Chief Justice of Liberia, Chief Justice Saneyo, said she did something like a county tour at several judicial facilities across the country, and what she realized is that the structures, like you talk about magisterial courts in those different parts of the country, those different structures are in very deplorable conditions. Magisterial courts and some of those places where people will go to get justice in case they felt offended or whatever. She said those structures are in very bad conditions, very, very deplorable. But then she went on to attribute that to low funding or budgetary support to the judiciary branch of government. Yeah, so those are just a few of the main things happening in the country as we speak. But taking the center stage is this issue with the happenings of Capitol Hill at the university's campus on yesterday.
Thank you, Nelson. Good day. I'm sure you have clips of today's Senate deliberation. If you do, please prepare it. I would like for us to see it. I see Nelson talked about them this condemning Gray, a lawmaker Gray. So if you do, we'll be willing to play it during our conversations here today. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to please chime in. Good day. If there's anything else that you need to add, but today we'll be going into details, reflections on the violence at LU. We'll talk about that today. We'll also be talking about the press release that came out from the United States Embassy. We'll be talking about that. We'll read that letter to our people, and then other thoughts that might be on the minds of the panelists. But anything you'd like to add in before I go and welcome our audience?
Um, Basically, and Nelson said it. The only
Okay.
part I'm still trying to get the police spokesman to explain to us why only students were arrested when we saw people who were not students also on campus, while the police was only able to arrest students. But he's yet to get them in. I told him we just need at least 5 minutes or even 3 minutes.
Okay, that's great.
All right.
When he calls you to answer that question, just let us know. Okay, thank you so much. Salamatu, would you like to join me in welcoming our audience. We just go down the list, and then you can start. I can pick up, or I can start, and you can pick up. Um, as our panelists roll in, we can just welcome our audience. This is an important part of our show. I like to make them feel included. So, would you like to join me? Would you like to start, or you want me to start?
Oh no, sure. And good afternoon again. So if I put out some of your names, I figure you know my yeah. Uh, so I'm looking on and I see some familiar names. Talita Bonner Walters. That's my family. You know, I always like to throw that there. Thank you, cousin Talita. Lucretia Do Nimle, Cyrus Nair Mane. Good evening. Ansu Sarleaf, Randall Thomas, Yvette, Cyphus, Lucky Boy Official, hello. Frances Swamoore, hello. He's following from Lofa County, District number 5. And there's Moore Corsi Jr. Sorry if I say your name wrong. Um, He's getting addicted to watching the show daily. Nice platform. Thank you so much for the compliment. Farm Moses from North Dakota. Jimmy Gray watching from Bloomington, Minnesota. That's Jason Sayon. Encourage, encourage, encourage. Thank you, men of influence. Our nation, please. We understand, Apa. Danielle Nagby. If I say your name wrong, sorry again. Patrick Kennedy. There's George Taliwadi, watching from Burlington. Cyrus Valley. Hello, Cyrus. He's watching from Garnersville Chicken Soup Factory community. Patrick Kennedy. Cole Dolo. Hi, my Spoon family. Hello, Miss Dolo. There's Thomas Faye Foucault, Jeremiah Akwe, Jason Sion. I think I said your name before. Dr. Richardson, you want to take it from there?
Sure, I'll take it from here. But I like Liberians to know that this is your platform. It was developed to provide information to you. We come from a diverse views, diverse backgrounds, and we will give you the information, and it's up to you to marinate it, to filter it, and make informed decisions about Liberia. Our sole purpose of being here is to provide information before a country that we love very much. We give up everything. Salamatu is right here on time. I like that. We're waiting for the rest of our other panelists to come on. And so this is our way of giving back to our dear, beloved country, Liberia. So I'd like to welcome you, viewers, listeners, wherever you are. If you're sitting somewhere underneath a tree, if you're home watching TV, if you're having a great day, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you coming here. This is your radio station. Some of you are texting me information on a regular basis. Continue to do that. This is how we stay informed about what is going on in the country. And we'll definitely be going to the phone line to make you a part of your radio station. So thank you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and welcome some of you as our panelists roll in. I want to welcome Anasa Tauber. She's watching from 10th Street Sinker. I'm also going to welcome Baker Ramsey. He says, yo, hello. Thank you. Hello back to you, Baker Ramsey. Eric Kuyami, thank you for joining us. You always here. Julia Smith is here. Thank you. He's in Plebo. I think that's where I hear you mentioning Plebo. Thank you for being here. Lucini MF Komara, he's watching from Dallas, Texas. Thank you for being here. Patrick Kennedy is also here, watching from Manchester. Oh, he said something about Manchester City. Sorry, I know football. All of y'all Manchester City followers, fans, I don't know football. Fanny Dennis, thank you for coming. Fanny is watching from Minnesota. James Wazi is watching. Robert Joe Jackson is also following from Johnsonville. Augustine Tarzo is watching from India. You are traveling to India through Spoon. Vicariously traveling. I like that, Augustine. Thank you for being here. Shaq King is watching from Jamaica Resort in Liberia. Jamaica Resort in Liberia. Evangeline Tar is watching. She says, "You look healthy, Dr. Richardson. I'm only here because of you. Much kisses to you. Thank you very much, Evangeline." Valentina Precious is also here. Valentina, thank you for being here. Um, Gallo is here. He's watching from Bismarck City, North Dakota. We are traveling now to North Dakota. Thank you for coming here. Francis Weir is from Pennsylvania. Um, Abraham Sanu is watching from the UK. Now you're in the UK. You left India. You're in the UK now. We go all over the place. Imagine, just imagine being those places. I love to travel, so that's all I think
Yeah,
about.
I wonder why we're not hearing anything from the UK or even Leo's now, Canada.
Yeah, Canada, they're coming up. We'll be watching them here. Eventually, Tar is actually from Chicago, Illinois. She says, AKA the Windy City.
Yeah.
Lincoln, yeah, Lincoln Willie is from Liberia. Julius, oh Julius, I missed your last name. Let me see if I can get this thing to go back up. Is I missed that. But Como Jenica is watching from Dupont Road. Roland Cooper is watching from Minnesota. Patrick Kennedy says, "You are beautiful." Salimatu. Patrick Kennedy says, "You are beautiful." Yes, she is beautiful, and she's on Spawn.
Thank you.
With brain too. She's very smart, as you can see. Some of the
Yeah,
feedback
thank
that
you.
she's been given. Mohammed V. Fode is watching from St. Cloud, USA. George Cooper is from Canada. We're asking about Canada. So George
Yeah.
Cooper, yes, that's where Leo's from. Clarence Benson is from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Another Canada.
Yes.
Yes, all of the viewers, all of Liberians and passionate lovers of Liberia, we welcome you wherever you are. Nora Weir says, Dr. 6 o'clock. Okay, I'm Dr. 6 o'clock. I'll take whatever name you guys give me.
That's own it, yeah, own it.
I own it. No, when you take the power away when you own it, I learned that a long time ago. But thank you. In fact, Dr. Honorable Fagon has changed my name to Dr. 559. Okay. It's so much fun being on the show, I tell you. Charles Yankan is from New Jersey, USA. Charles Yankan, I hope I'm saying your name right. Like Salimatu said, sometimes we do the best to pronounce your names. William K. McDavis said, Dr. 6 p.m. and Miss Salimatu, the goddesses of beauty. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
We thank you.
Yes. Mimi Tiwe Pao is here. Mimi Tiwe is here. Mimi, thank you for being here. Yes, Mr. Fagon is here. So I'm going to be saying a few names, and then I'm going to turn myself back to the show. Colleague,
I'm not goddess of beauty. I play one for me.
Yeah, you're being said the king of Hampsoness. Yeah. The king of, you know what Mr. Fagon told me his structure. He said, when y'all see my bottom structure, I'm the king of Hampsoness.
Okay.
6 tall.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
250 pounds.
There we go. You
Both
can't.
legs. Not capital K.
Look, I want to welcome all of you to the show. We have fun here, and we talk serious business for the Liberian people. We also have the Hemson, Mr. Nelson Colette, and Mr. James Goudet in the studio producing for us here. We're a team, and we present the information to you. You might not like what I say, or you might like what I say, or you might not like what another panelist says. But the goal is for us to present and represent different parts of Liberia. We are not a monolithic culture. That means that we're not just, a melting pot, as they can say in the United States. We have different parts of us in the country. Everybody listen and filter things differently. And so That's how we are here at Spoon, your radio station. So we're gonna begin. It's 4:26. Let's get started. We're gonna begin by just giving our panelists 2 minutes for them to tell us their thoughts, their reflections on the violence at UL or LU. Um, I think I'll get used to calling it UL because that's the new name. When I was growing up in Liberia, it was called LU. So please forgive me as I say LU. Um, so Sadamatu, any thoughts, anything that just came up for you last night as you were, reminiscing about what happened yesterday in Liberia? It was quite traumatic for me. Do you have any thoughts about what happened? And then we'll go to Mr. Fagon, and then we'll go to Good Day, and then I will share my thoughts. I'm waiting for my other panelists to roll in, but they would roll in as we roll in.
Okay, yeah, I mean, again, what I will say about yesterday, we're starting to hear from a lot more people that, the violence on the campus was unnecessary. A lot of times when these things happen, of course, people start picking their sides and we're saying one side right, one side, but I'm hearing from so many people that it was unnecessary. Liberians are tired of, these kinds of behavior. So that says a lot about our growing or developing democracy, that people are now just kind of tired. um, we have to learn to talk things out. We have to learn to agree to disagree. We weren't raised in the same homes. Even siblings that are raised in the same home, they can fight, they can disagree. The fact that we disagree, it doesn't mean one person is better than the other. It doesn't mean we need to necessarily kill each other. So just to hear the sentiment that, what, it was wrong. And I think hearing that the Senate actually addressed this, it says a lot. Thanks to the Senate for at least addressing it. I just hope there's more they can do to try to prevent these type of things from happening. I'm still waiting to hear from the school as well. So
Thank you, Honorable Eugene L. Fagon.
Well, thank you, and it's great to be with you guys. And let me state for the record that what I'm hearing when Commander Wisse raised the issue on the Senate floor, followed by Prince Johnson, is a strong condemnation for the unnecessary and unprovoked attacks on the students yesterday by quote unquote General Gray and his talks. And what I'm hearing and what I'm being told in the corridors of power is that this is not something that they felt comfortable with, but by their silence, they agreed to it. And by the records we have here now, it is clear that the University of Liberia issued a statement. And in the second paragraph there, they said, and I'm reading, quote, the decision to cancel classes and all related academic activities arises out of concern for the safety of students, faculty, and staff of the university, as well as members of the public. So they told you exactly why they were closing down the university. What time did they close the university? They said that the University of Liberia, and I'm quoting again, hereby cancels all normal academic and administrative activities on its Capitol Hill campus beginning at 12 noon. When did Mr. Gray and his talks arrive? 12:36 on the record. So if I tell you this place is closed, and it's closed because I am afraid for my safety, meaning I sense there will be violence, what sense did it make for him and the talks to go in there brandishing sticks, weapons, and what have you? It was an invasion of the campus, and I'm happy that the United States ambassador condemned the violence yesterday, not the one before or the one that will come after. He was very specific. He condemned the violence there yesterday, and I believe that the violence was unprovoked. I believe that Mr. Gray will have his day in court when the next government takes a seat. I'm confident that the evidences that will be produced in the court of competent jurisdiction will be overwhelming, that will convict him of an invasion of the University of Liberia main campus when he was warned not to do so.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Fagon. James, good day. You have any thoughts as we wait for we're waiting for other panelists to roll in, and then I will tell you my thoughts. I think you are waiting for the phone call.
Yeah, like what Minister Falcon said, I have some of the videos ready where the senators expressing their dissatisfaction. But the police statement is what really I am looking at. The entire incident that took place where we saw Representative Gray invading the University of Liberia campus with men wearing masks, the police was able to announce to Liberia and the international community that they only arrested 6 students. The students who they are.
Gino, tell you before I put you in jail to now. I tell you, I so mad at you. I will put you in jail to now. Okay. But I was telling you the thing yesterday that how your police people didn't get IUT, say this and that. So why I can't get there with you today? And you see yourself there with them now?
There we go. You see?
All so, of us are happy yesterday.
No, let me talk for Good Day. Good Day was trying to give the people the benefit of the doubt. At all.
James Good Day, Salone, woman, Serena.
That is funny. The flower
James, you free, go. You free.
Yes.
I'm not argue with Salimatu. James, you free. Toya, I send you something that work for you.
So yesterday I told you that they may arrest here and there because I never had official statement to tell you how many arrests were made. But according to their statement, they were able to arrest only 6. Only 6 people. So the point here is men who were wearing masks. 6 students. Let me not just go on as 6 students. The students who their campus got invaded by men wearing masks. They were the victims of arrest. But those who did the invasion, nobody got arrested. It is in their statement.
This picture. Something is wrong with this picture. The picture you painted is wrong with it.
Those who did the invasion, nobody got arrested. But those who got invaded, they got arrested. 6 of them got arrested. It is in their statement that 6 students got arrested.
True.
Yeah, it is in their statement. So I don't know if the police. I'm trying my best. I've been talking to Moses back and forth. He's like saying he's busy.
You have that statement for us to read.
It's in the chat room. It's in the chat room.
Yes. We want to bring.
Maybe you can put it on set so that
actually, you put the statement up so Liberians can hear the facts of this matter that you're talking about, James.
Yeah, let me bring it up now.
My thoughts as James is looking is basically, I want to go back to trauma response. Basically, that's what I know. I think the Gray and the entire people that followed him are just engaging in a trauma response. When you are traumatized, basically you don't react to resolve conflict. You think you are in danger just because another person says, I'm going to have a protest or I'm coming after you. So you're always in a state of danger. So in my mind, he was probably acting out, going to go, thinking that he was in danger and went to go react on the campus. So, but the consequences of this reaction is that it causes other people who were not even part of the conflict to be traumatized. People are anxious. People are having sleepless nights. They are confused. And then we wonder, why is it that our students are not doing well? We wonder why is it that our employees are not productive. We wonder why decisions are not being made, because people are just confused. When these things happen, it has a psychological impact on the citizens of Liberia. So I want us to think twice before we start getting into this one-up position, which I think is what was happening to lawmaker. Great. I'm one opposition. I'm gonna calm things down. I got power. All of those showmanship is not necessary. Grandstanding is not necessary, especially for a country like Liberia or anywhere for that matter. But we've been through trauma. James, did you get we did you get the statement from the police so far? So we can play it. I mean, we can show it.
Yes, it is. It is in the chat room, and here it is.
Thank you. So there we go. Mr. Falcon, do you want to dissect it for us? You're good at your eyes are good at these things.
Yeah, the first thing here, the 122, who is Moses Carter, put the statement together and signed on behalf of the police. And he was very clear that the police has arrested 6 persons in connection to yesterday's violence at the University of Liberia, which resulted to an emergency response unit, police marked vehicle front windshield damage, and 5 officers sustaining bodily injuries. The first part of that sentence tells you that this arrest had nothing to do with the university. He makes it clear there that the 6 persons were arrested in connection to yesterday's violence, where they did not state, but he goes on to say that it resulted in an emergency response unit, ERU, police vehicle, front windshield damage, and 5 officers sustaining injuries. So he said officers reportedly came under stone throwing attacks when a false alarm was raised by Jeremiah Poja, who claimed that an LMP vehicle hit him. This resulted to the arrest of 6 rioters. Still got nothing to do with the university. Those arrested included, he put the student's name there. And so they arrested the people because they said Stone hit the car and the people were responding to a false alarm that a police car had hit somebody. These are the kinds of ineptitude we talk about. The violence should have been holistic. The perpetrators of the violence or instigators should have been stopped at the police station. And the police are not reporting any arrest of anybody but 6 students. And according to them, it's because an ERU car windshield got damaged. And that car windshield got damaged because the ERU car was responding, okay, to a false, I'm quoting them, alarm. So good, eh? Anyway, Salimatu said I'm gonna leave. The people said the alarm that police car hit the ball. Our false alarm.
You know, the police lie.
Hey,
Because
hey.
Yeah, put your tire now. Yeah,
but,
the tire way.
but wait, I was saying things that I know about. Our
Yeah.
reporter was on the present. Rufus Divan Kanye was there when the incident took place. Why would they say? I'm told the way the ball got hit, the car, when the group was coming, the car was trying to reverse, and this student was not paying attention. He was not paying attention at his back. That was how the car hit from the back. Why would they come out to say it was a false alarm? We had a reporter there who confirmed that about the car hitting the student. It is something that got confirmed. So in this statement, the police lied. I hope they will have a press conference where they will have the media present to question them.
That the first time the police lied?
So my thought is, we have violence on the campus, and we're talking about a police car being damaged. Okay, I mean, this is a misplaced priority for me. So I want to know your thoughts, Salimatu, on this, and then I'll go to Mr. Wazi. Thank you for joining us. I don't understand. The violence on campus was it addressed in this press conference? Is that a priority of our society, our people right now?
What you remember?
Should the students have been arrested? Just the students?
You remember yesterday I said that it appears that the only people who were being hauled off to the police station were the students. Um, of course, I would just again, I was speaking based on our past experience. I was speaking based on the
Mhm.
fact that we didn't see a lot of people getting arrested. It was just a few. I think that one guy that
Yeah.
Eugene and Good were going back and forth with.
Mhm.
So it just appeared that one side was being arrested. Again, we're not surprised because this is what happens when you have um, one one branch of government making all the rules. I don't think people understand that there's a reason we have three branches of government. There should be check and balances. Um, but unfortunately, we're in a country that fought for a multi-party system. We say we want diversity, we want be inclusive, but yet instead we elect somebody and they decide that one person will make the decision for every agency, every branch of government. So this is not the first time we've seen it happen. This will not be Oh, what's that? This is not the first time. This will not be the last time we see it. I will always go back to the time that women decided they were going to protest because of the high cases of rape of children in Liberia. They gathered at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the president wasn't there. So they decided that they were going to go to his house on Jamaica Road. They were going to walk there. And next thing you know, the police came out. They started stoning those women. If I lie, let one of them say, you know what, no, it didn't happen. They ended up standing in front of Fish Market, where now the Invincible Park is, whatever the name is. And when they stood there, Madame came out, talked to them. It was only after she left, then we heard the president make a remark. I want to say later on that day, I may be wrong, or maybe the next day,
Mhm.
that he saw the incident on, get played out. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, so you saw the police throwing rocks on these women, and there's no report that the women were throwing rocks on them, um, were retaliating back. So we will continue to see this. Until one, either the government leaves power, or I don't know, maybe our international community needs to get involved. I don't know how else they can get involved. They've, denounced violence, which they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be, diplomatic about it. But the organization, civil society needs to start looking at international conventions
Thank you.
like Korea signed.
Thank you, Sadamato. I'm going to go to Mr. Wazzy, and I also like to welcome Mr. Johnson to the show. Mr. Wazzy, there's a police press release that is outside stating that 6 students were arrested due to hitting a police marked vehicle from the front and damaging the windshield, and also harming 5 officers. They said 5 officers sustained bodily injuries. Okay. I want to know your thoughts because first I'm thinking the police car got damaged, and then I'm also thinking 5 police officers got hurt. I'm not hearing about the other people who were involved in this incident. Okay. Do you have any concerns about these students being arrested? Just the students,
Well,
Mr. Mhm.
quickly, yeah. I read that press release with abject dismay, and I was shocked by some of the paragraphs. I mean, that are clearly um some of the some of the paragraphs in the press release from the Liberal National Police, they are actually disturbing and deeply sickening. In the first place, a riot team goes out to curb a particular um situation. You know, let the riot team leave from the NMP to go out there to handle any ongoing events. Go out considering few things. One, that either one of the officers will be killed or hurt because That's why you call a rioting. And then all the property, like the car, will be damaged, and there will be some level of aggression. So for the Liberian National Police to leave the real issue and put the attention to state property being damaged or police getting hurt, that is part of the mission of the Liberian police or even the military. It like something happened, you send some army people on the front line, you say two army persons die, so you're arresting other people because they went to fight a war and they die. But the real issue should be what actually led to the call for the police to go in and make intervention. That was the unprovoked visitation or the action by the incumbent lawmaker, who happens to be the lawmaker of the district where the university is situated. So I think this is actually a smart way of leaving the real issue and turning on something more trivial. And it's unfair in this case that we do not in any way support the fact that a few group of students would choose to create a no-go zone, like a city within a city, a city state within a city. We don't support that kind of idea. But again, I also think that the visit by the honorable lawmaker didn't just worth it, because the intention were not his intention was not to go and have lunch, but to go and show power, and which in this case didn't just make any sense. I think it was just a product of arrogance and insensitivity to the national security implication of his action.
Thank you. Thank you,
So
Mr. Watts.
with the
Yeah,
arrest, with the coming on this point, with the arrest of the students, I think instead of arresting the students and using excessive force, or quote unquote the paramilitary structure to institute arrest measures, is not really in a good interest of the state. We should be finding a way to call for policy implementation on the campuses of the University of Liberia. The issue is simple. It does not even require Liberian National Police intervention. The UL police can handle that, provided the administration make up mind to ensure a peaceful and conducive learning environment. The University of Liberia policy, the policy that gave birth to the University of Liberia is clear. The administration have got so much authority. It's just a matter of ensuring full compliance to the regulation or the framework, the statute under which the university was established.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Walsey. Mr. Johnson, today we saw the press release from the police and students were arrested. Is it fair just to arrest students and not, lawmakers or other people who were involved in this event?
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Greetings to you, fellow panelists, and greetings to all Spoon listeners everywhere in the world. Here's what I'm going to say to it. First of all, I think we seem to be addressing the symptom of the problem. In my opinion, first, what should be more disturbing is that since this saga started, we are yet to see, or we were yet to see until today, any type of actions or investigation from the police or state securities, period. I think from the very day that this issue started, whether it was with Aloysius Howell or whoever else, I think the police should have already been ahead of this game, launching full investigation to understand if there were students who were genuinely protesting and if there were other instigators. Because what I usually know in these protests, there are genuine protesters, but then there are people who are just instigators. They come to try and, rough things up so that things can get very chaotic. Even in the most well-meaning protest actions, you see that all of the time. People who are just bent on creating chaos. So I think the question we should be asking, how come we have not seen any type of investigation whatsoever until now? The other question we should start asking is, how come everybody has avoided holding accountable the administration of the University of Liberia? The first and foremost issue should be safety of students, period, and their staff and workers on that campus. When it was clear that the tension was heightened to the point that it was, when a lawmaker decided that they will go on the campus, regardless of what will happen, they will enter the campus by any means or so. How come the university was not precautionary to say, you know what? Since we have lawmakers, people of authority deciding that they are going to take on actions that will clearly put students in harm's way, we will shut down the university campus until these officials can, understand that this type of action endangers the lives of, because guess what? They're not only soup on LU campus. They're not only pro-sci on LU campus. There are thousands of other students who don't even want to be involved in any of these things, that just go there just to study. And they need their peace and they need their time. Instead, everybody waited, including the state securities and everybody, and waited for all of this to happen. And then today we see that 6 students were arrested. I think the bigger question we need to start asking the LMP, when did the questioning of Representative Akaris Gray, Representative Yeke Koluba, when did those questions take place? And we saw that Representative Akaris Gray and Representative Koluba going on the campus disrupted an entire day of learning for our students, put people in harm's way, disrupted normal traffic flow, put even faculty and administrators and professors in danger. Where is the accountability for Representative Gray and Representative Koluba also to face questioning because he said he was going there for lunch? And lunch should not disrupt the entire day of class. That's a direct offense for students who go to school to learn every day. So I think the bigger question for me is not whether or not these students may have committed any crime or whether they broke a police car, windshield, or whatever. That's an allegation, that's a charge, right? That has to be proven. What I want to know is how come it's almost at the end of the whole operation before we are just hearing that, that only the police car they care about protecting. What about the lives of innocent students? What about the lives of all those that could have been killed, that could have been involved in the violence that happened? I think the bigger question is not about, why they were arresting only the 6 students. Because granted, let's say if it is true that the 6 students broke a police vehicle windshield or whatever, granted, right? Fine. That's the minor thing to protect the property. The main thing to protect and the people who endanger people's lives, in my opinion, by their reckless action that resulted to violence, should also be held to accountable. No one is above the law. A lawmaker, not a lawmaker, whoever you are not above the law. And I will repeat, in the same vein, we denounce every form of violence from Yeke Koluba, from Akaris Gray, from the students. But when it comes to investigation, I think what is happening is not an investigation, in my opinion. It's about dodging responsibility. And I want to see the university leadership also call in for questioning as to why they could have taken actions to avoid this.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Falcone, we're going to go over to you. Why do you think the universities administrators are not taking action? Why didn't they do something about, the violence where they knew it was going to happen? The gates were opened, when the lawmaker came. Why didn't they do something?
Madam Moderator, I think the question you are asking me has been served and answered a long time ago. That shouldn't be a question that I believe I should answer, because it has been answered. And it was answered in the affirmative. Now let's go back to history, because apparently my co-panelist on the platform does not follow events. The question you are asking me is, why didn't they take action? Was it not the same university that without even investigation suspended the student for the attacks? Is that not an action that the university took? Did the university not say there's no place for violence on their campus? Did some of us not even go after the university for taking the action without even investigating the students? Mm-hmm. Okay, I take you now to my fellow panelists' point. Why wasn't the university proactive? Why are they waiting now to say stuff? My friend, that's why I say you need to be in tune with what's happening in the country. I put a statement in the chat room for you, Mr. Johnson. The university issued a statement, and they made it clear in their statement, and I'm going to say it for the Liberian people to know, that contrary to what you just said, it's totally false.
When was it issued?
It was issued on Monday morning.
The same day?
I don't care whether it's the same day. In the morning,
I care.
It was issued.
Since you want to make it more direct at me, I do care. And you will not twist the words
so
that
let
I
me finish now.
I'll not allow you to twist it. I will check you.
That's why I waited for you patiently.
Yeah, but I will check you if you come at me
You're not
directly
checking
and
me.
twist my
I
word.
gave you the time that it was issued. You said, when was the issue? What was my answer to you?
And that's proactive on the same day.
On Monday morning, universities don't work on Sunday.
When students were on campus already.
They were not there on Sunday. They were not there on Saturday. I'm getting your facts in place, my dear brother.
Yeah, and I will check yours too.
You work at the university here on Saturdays, don't you? Do you work here on Sundays?
Make your point. Let's not make it a dialogue.
No, don't say make your point.
Okay.
So on Monday morning.
Well, we're not having a dialogue. It's not a back and forth. Make your point.
But if you interrupted me, I didn't interrupt you when you were making your long diatribe.
Mr. Fagon, please continue.
Thank you very much for the protection, Madam Moderator. Thank you. So I like to tell my co-panelists that Liberian universities don't work on Saturdays and Sundays in Liberia. So Monday morning, when they got on campus, they sat down, had a meeting, and they issued a statement. And read the first part of the statement, Mr. Johnson. It says, the university hereby cancels all normal academic and administrative activities. Normal, meaning things that happen there on its Capitol Hill campus, beginning at 12 noon. They gave you the time. When did Mr. Gray and his talks arrive? At 1 p.m. So let's get our facts together when we talk to the Liberian people. Now, in the second paragraph, you made it sound like they waited. No, they were more concerned for the safety of the students, faculty, and staff. And they made it clear in the second paragraph. Let me read it so you hear it. The decision to cancel classes and all related academic activities arises out of the concern for the safety of students, faculty, and staff of the university, as well as members of the public. They told you the time. They told you the reason. And here comes Mr. Man and his talks. He marched at 1 p.m. and inflicted serious harm on the university. Now, you said that it is an allegation yet to be proven. You just told the police too that they lie because they showed their vehicle, they showed the windshield. We got footages of them trying to care for the students and what have you.
Okay,
I'll close by saying,
okay,
I know that you are a very busy man, but you got to find time to follow the events.
Okay, so
Dr. Francine, please, Dr. Francine, a lot of things were directly directed at me. So if you
yes, sir.
I'm going to give you the opportunity.
I get facts
to speak about that, and then we'll have to move
I
on
just
because
give you facts.
Yeah. So I would just correct.
Okay. Can we please protect Mr. Johnson and he speaks, please?
Thank you. So I would just straighten certain things for you. Anyone who's run any administration before, Dr. Francine, and to all of us, anybody, you don't come 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning of a situation you knew weeks ago to tell students, say, oh, all issues have been canceled, so all classes have been canceled. The morning off, on the day off, number one. Number two, if all classes were being canceled, the university student asked to stay off campus. Why did the university administration not invite security to let students don't go home? No students stay on campus. It is not safe. But send out a press release. Number two, how many people received that press release that was sent out as a rating statement? How many students in Liberia wake up in the morning, 9 o'clock on their way to school, and the first place to go and look for the press release that was sent out by the University of Liberia, number one? Let me say another thing very clearly. Maybe you can pick and choose, Minister Fagon, and anybody can pick and choose on this issue. But a few months ago, some of you were the same people that were speaking, calling soup all kinds of names, calling them opposition collaborators, calling them hooligans. There are video clips when you were Deputy Minister of Information. These were the same students. These were the same things that they were doing. So I don't think you have more credibility than anybody, no matter how much you think you know, based on your connections. I will speak from what I see in the public and tell you what we know. What I don't know, I don't know. And if I'm wrong, correct me. I will be humble and glad enough to receive it. When it comes to evidence, just because the police show their car being broken, their window being broken, there's no evidence we're seeing that these students that have been arrested, there's no video I have seen, correct me if I'm wrong, that they were the ones shown on the video breaking the police vehicle. I'm yet to see it. If you can produce that evidence, I will withdraw my statement gladly.
Okay, we have to move on to our other
No, the
topic.
debate is healthy, Madam Moderator.
I know.
It's very healthy.
I know,
For
but what
example,
else do you have to add, Mr. Falcon? What else do you have to add? Do you have anything else?
Example, Mr. Johnson said, weeks off. Weeks off, yes. The people took a decision. They suspended students. They acted. It was passed and it was done with. Secondly, he said, how many people received that stuff? That's why I say he's busy. The very moment they put it up, we are in the 21st century. Technologically advanced world. Email, Facebook, WhatsApp, spread like wildfire.
Yeah, your office could not even get printer. You had to pay for it as Deputy Minister of Information.
I did, and I'm proud that I did it. I don't interrupt you, but you were interrupting because you want to keep it going. But I'll keep flowing. I've been in the business long.
All right, let's
now,
move on.
You say that administratively, I don't know what administration you're running, but on Saturdays and Sundays, people are home. They are with their families. So if they get an announcement on Friday that, hey, on Monday I will eat at the cafeteria, that announcement perhaps was not as serious as it became Friday night.
Okay, thank you. Gotta move on.
So they did the right thing on Monday morning. And Madam Moderator, let me say this. When the facts are presented, don't move the goalpost. The people was accused of doing nothing. We proved that they did something. They suspended the student. They took action. The people was accused of not preventing this thing. We proved that they came up and they said, hey, for the safety and concern. So we're not going to be letting people tell stories here. Spider stories will not pass.
Thank you. So we're going to move on to our next topic. And James is going to show the lawmakers condemning Representative Gray today for his actions and his contribution to exacerbating this violence on LU campus. But before we go to that, I want a quick answer, just 1 minute, 30 seconds. Are you guys surprised that the president of our country have not said anything about this yet? And I just want, there's something I've been, last night I was wondering, is he supposed to, or is he supposed to not say anything? I mean, I know he's busy, he has other things on his plate, but is this something that a leader of a country is supposed to speak to? So I'll start with you, Salimatu. What are your thoughts?
I think so. That she just want you to say again.
Well, everybody will have a chance to speak to this here because again.
Why are you giving that woman hard time for?
Yeah, now repeat herself.
The president cut a speech for us, man. There's no more annual report
I want
to
more
give.
from the president.
No, he's not. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. So, you know, the U.S. Embassy spoke out about it. The Senate spoke out about it. That's the most we're going to get. The international community will talk. But as far as our president, he's not going to say anything about it. And that's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know when somebody cut a speech from you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Falcon, your thoughts? You were information minister. You were close to the happenings in the government. Is this something that a president of Liberia, of a country, is supposed to speak to? We had this violence on a country that involved multiple parties. What do you think?
First of all, let's forget about the president for a second, because Salimatu already told you don't want to listen to her. Perhaps you want to hear it from me and you say, yeah, the two people that.
Yeah, I got high expectation for the president. That what it is.
Yes. The first line of communication to the people is the government's propaganda arm, and that comes through the Ministry of Information as the umbrella entity responsible for that. Okay. You got ELBC, you got the Assistant Minister for Public Affairs, Foreign Affairs, you have LINA, the Liberian News Agency, you have ELBC, and all those people form part of the government information arm. What have we seen? Now, even the whole violence that happened, by right, the first press release should come from the Ministry of Information. The government is disturbed by a heightened spate of violence that have engulfed the University of Liberia's campus of late.
Okay,
quite recently. Yeah. In recent time.
Job, yeah.
No, that's what you do.
No, I know.
You're not indicting the government. you're not indicting the students. You're not even indicting Mr. Gray. I'm speaking from a government propaganda arm now. But I'm telling you, government is concerned. The reason why I will put that there, so that if it lay on the student side, I will tell you, I said the government was concerned. If it goes against Gray, I will tell you the government was concerned. If it come back against the police, I will tell you the government was concerned. But the Bobo didn't say nothing, the Bobo didn't say nothing. So at the end of the day, they wrote nothing, they said nothing, the speculations continue. We saw footages from independent media, and we base our analysis on those footages. Now, comes to the president that you asked about, who happens to be the chief executive communicator of the government. When he speaks, nobody speaks. You cannot tell me that the president could not have said last night in a 5 minutes address to the nation that my government, in closing, my government will not tolerate any form of lawlessness that is directed at an institution meant to continue our democracy or the civilization of our country or the society of our nation.
Thank you, Mr. Bago.
You say those kind of things, and people say, the president says, say, concern, the president blast with him play. But you just there, Hennessy XO. Y'all leave me alone, man.
Mr. Wazzy, I asked a question, 30 seconds, 1 minute. If you can just talk about, I'm wondering why the president of our country, should he speak, should he not speak? What are your thoughts?
I think
Mr. Wazzy, we're not getting you. I'm going to circle back to you. Time is of essence to me. Mr. Johnson, your thoughts?
I think for me, I will not preach on what we should do for the propaganda for the president. I would say, I think, first of all, it's very worrying and very concerning that this doesn't seem to have caught the president's attention, in my opinion. It is very disturbing for me. And I care whether you bobo, you're not bobo. When you're president, the thing you're supposed to do when you're not doing it, we will still highlight it. I mean, in my opinion, what should have been done immediately, this issue, in fact, I would have expected that the president would have played a role in getting someone like Representative Gray and Representative Columbus, all of the people who were involved trying to stoke and instigate this, even in the background, use some of your presidential leverage and influence to say, you know what, Akaras, this stuff is not going to end up well.
Now you're talking.
Fago, I know you like when we are preaching the propaganda that you want
like
to hear.
the truth.
For me, I will go to facts.
Mr. Fago, you are disturbing Mr. Johnson, please.
And you know what? I don't have all the information you have because I'm not deputy minister before, so I can only speak from the one that I have. The one that you can keep secret, you can keep it secret. But I will get back to my point.
Yes, please do.
I would have said that, you know what, the students would deal with the students separately, would deal with the university leadership. Call all of them in the background. All right, you didn't do that. The situation happened. What I would have done if I were president, and I'm not, but I would have done immediately set up an independent task force. When I mean independent, no seditious, no political party person. We got the religious community. We got the some of our foreign expats in the country, the different sectors, civil society groups. Set up an independent commission immediately to do a full investigation involving the university authority, what they did do or not do, involving the students, involving Representative Gray, Representative Columbus, and the police, the Liberian National Police as well. Were there any ethical breaches? Were there things that they were supposed to do and did not do? And based on the finding of that as president, my decision as to what should be done to remedy the situation would then go into full force. But I think for me, that is where I think questions would be asked of President Weah. And I think those are fair questions to be asked in terms of what should have happened and what should happen now that the incident has actually occurred.
Sure, you make a good point. He didn't use his leverage as president. Mr. Alcin, welcome to your show, Spoon Talk. We're just asking a simple question. Should the president have said something, done something, or not? What are your thoughts?
Well, the president is Bobo. The president was Bobo doing the Senate. Is Bobo as president. It's so hold on, this thing almost fell. Well, my good friend Leo, I don't like for this to be a debate, but I kind of differ with him saying that it should settle a panel and everything. The thing is glaring. I don't know why people won't settle a panel. Yesterday, a few days ago, look, I don't like for me, I consider myself a realist. I don't see myself for what it should have been for what it is. This is clear as night and day. Few days ago, the vice president was booed. Another person went on the campus, Serena Cephas. He was booed. This whole guy went on the campus. He was booed and kicked out of the campus. There has been a pattern, a consistent pattern that the people are getting frustrated with this government. The students are verging the anger using civil disobedience. Why people turn out violent, I did not see, except we're seeing from different lenses, I did not see any physical. I saw verbal, which is a tenet of democracy. Civil disobedience is a normal part of democracy. You know, it doesn't always have to be violent. People say violent, but I did not see any violence, even though it came up. There was allegation that his car was burned. So, having said that, so this thing is a clear and end. I don't see why you were front of panel. The next thing we saw, in a show of force, we saw that with Jefferson Koji when he did that at the embassy. This is the first government that had instituted something called counter-protest. So what do? When people go out on the street to assemble peacefully, they bring their talks to do counter-protest, so that there is a riot in the street and the two people come. And then what they want to create is something in law enforcement called afraid. You know, whenever there's a brawl in a club and people fight, become an afraid situation, nobody get blamed. Every side was wrong. And, you know, the police just come and punish everyone. So they want to create an afraid situation.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring their talks out to something. So I don't know why anyone would want an investigation when Akara's grade knowingly stirred
30
up.
seconds, Mr. Al
Yeah,
Hussein.
he knowingly stirred this whole thing up. What I think this government should do and the CDC officials should do, Akara's grade should be reprimanded. Akara's grade should be talked to seriously because they have the most to lose. This is a sitting government. The opposition have nothing to lose. This has nothing to do with opposition or anything.
Mr. Hussein, we are going to that. That's going to be the next clip that we show. Yes. So, okay.
So if there had been death, he bear the greatest responsibility.
Okay, we're going to show a clip of what happened in the Senate today, I believe, and then we'll share our thoughts about that. Mr. Wazi, thanks for coming back. I hope you're here with us. I had asked the question because I've been thinking about this. Should the president be saying something or not? Is this of grave concern to the country or to international bodies that he speak about this or not? Or maybe this is at least on his priority of things. Maybe he's very busy. What are your thoughts? You have, okay, Mr. Wazi is gone. We're going to move on to our next conversation. A time if
I know what's up, Mr. Wazi.
I know. He just, you know. So let's go, James. Could you please play the videotape of what happened in at the legislature today?
All right, let's begin with Senator Kumina Wise. He did an introduction of it.
Mm-hmm.
At the police, and they saw people moving on the university campus with weapons in their hands. It was not stopped. That was not stopped. And we say we appeal. We are using the word appeal when crime is about to be committed. That is why I thought we should bring it to plenary as a matter of emergency and as a matter that is threatening our peace and security. Thank you, sir.
So that's coming up with that.
Mm-hmm.
You want I should bring Prince Johnson on?
Please bring Prince Johnson, please, because we said it's just basically saying exactly what we're saying, what we think.
All right.
The issue of the university students and the VP yesterday all emanated from the Independence Day celebration from my view. When the students decided to peacefully demonstrate on the grounds of the U.S. Embassy, the CDC couple, something like that, they pursued them and beat them up and naked them. And nothing happened. So the university students try to reciprocate. I think what I saw yesterday, let me be specific, Honorable Akala Gray, who called himself general, when I saw him marching with those muscular guys, my mind reflected to the past. All the giants that were trained at Satu, when the war really started, where were they? The trouble that Akala Gray is looking for in this country, if that trouble comes, can he stand? Like the Senator Rubaji said, let the Senate see this matter. Violence is imminent. It will continue this way. When I preach on Sunday, don't underestimate me. There is a dark cloud hanging over Liberia. It will move, but it will shake. If we believe that we have to manipulate over violence, then I would say it's a lie. Let us pursue peace. Let us continue to enjoy the relative peace we have and not to encourage violence. What happened yesterday? If I'm annoyed over something, displeased over national matter, and I want to raise 2,000 men, even 500, they say PYJ after trouble. Then the embassy will call me to advise. Or people will start making statements, demeaning my character. But no one is speaking about what Akala Gray did yesterday. The MDR condemns it, and it should never ever occur. Those students over there are our children from all over Liberia, entering the compound with weapons, throwing stones. You saw police throwing stones. That proves that the police, if not a regime police, is trying to be a regime police. We should not be. We reform the army, dissolve the army, dissolve the police, reform, so that it can be civil. But what I saw yesterday is so bad. Pretend this is the House of Elders. Please arrest it and let the Speaker of the House of Reps give strong warning to Akala Gray. When trouble starts, he will run away. That's all I can say. Let me think about peace.
So I want you to think of Akala's Gray. They look at it comprehensively. There was other things that happened there before. People who are even our vice president, people drove up from there. So let's look at comprehensively.
Comprehensively, yeah,
attacking Akala's Gray.
Yeah, protest comprehensively. You said comprehensively. I said all of these things emanate from what I saw for the U.S. Embassy. When the people peacefully demonstrated, they pursued them there and flogged them and wounded them. So they try to reciprocate. If you are in government and you are official and you follow peaceful demonstrators to beat them before the embassy, then you want to enter the ground, it was provocative. Thank you.
There we have it. We saw the Senate in plenary discussing and condemning Representative Gray. Any further comments before we move on to the letter that?
So I still have about two persons, Senator
Go ahead.
Senator Youngly and Senator Kuhn.
I'm sorry,
Continue?
I thought you were done. Go ahead.
All right. Let it will be the last. Let you end it.
Yes, let the Liberian hear.
Something wrong with you made woman last?
Yeah, I want her to take over at the end.
The man will have more time.
Don't mind.
Problem, all the citizens they put pay money in government account, whatever taxes or whatever pay. Who they all can rack out for that money? They all put that right, so it is already happening. Who they us? Go ahead. We are treated differently because the standard is here. Brother, when you go in wound now, people are landlord in the street. You're not better than them, but at the standard, they put you up there so they go back to you. So you must think up there, get think down again when you're up there. To think down, then you're not supposed to be leader. You're supposed to resign and go back down there. And that's why when you hear people talking Akara, they're where it coming from. Not because voting or because in position or opposition. That's not an issue. Probably all the children most of the children were born either 1998, 99, 2000, 2003, 2004. Those are my children. And at that age, there's a exuberance. When they wear that barrel, they wear the khaki, they want to show that they strength. You're supposed to think for them and yourself. You're supposed to think for both of y'all. If the children say, I'm not campus, they are down, I will not go there. Why are they do that? If that peace is not kept, we will not be senators. Thank you. If the issue yesterday had escalated to the extent that somebody died, the senators get in the street and brought the government down, we will not be senators. For us to be senators is for the place to be peaceful, and that's why we must keep it peaceful to ride our air condition car, air condition coffee, because the other people outside there, they get it. So they got to be on us.
That is one we can forget.
Brother, I can say example. I was watching the video the day the guy getting took over. The speaker had gone to a meeting to represent the country. And the amateur over the man could not come again, that speaker again. Because there was no peace. And so when we sit here, air condition blowing off, security guiding us.
So, Senator Yumley.
We see that things are falling apart with leaders, with students, with the security, with Zomos, and with criminals, because they're all involved from what we saw yesterday. Yesterday, I was mostly disappointed with the security. In 2019, the trend started, and I was one of those, if not the only person who reported that to the Senate, and the Senate did not act. When Celia was attacked in 2015, there were police all around the building and their commander. Nobody acted. The police didn't act. We had to send people in the house to rescue Celia when gas was being wasted around the building to burn the house. Police did not act because they were waiting for instruction. In 2013, you said we shouldn't call names, and it's true. But when Jefferson Kochi and his staff attacked us in District 13, and our bloodshed, international community, everybody was concerned. I came to the Senate did not act. Today, Jefferson Kochi's lawyer is proud to say that he took me to court. There was no investigation, nothing. Today, we see a play of people provoking one another. When you see a group of people coming to the Assembly or the legislature to present petition, even if they attend, you see police standing all here with their shield materials to protect people. What happened to the university campus was announced. And people took their time and walked in there. In fact, that morning, everywhere was closed at the university campus. There were no food, restaurants, everywhere they were closed. The police did not act. Some of the people that walk in that campus, they are notorious criminals that are known. Zobos went in there. Everyone went in there. The police did not act. We have the oversight responsibility to make sure that the security, the joint security, can do the right thing. I think the Senate, and I'm going to say again, we are close on Friday. We are getting close to elections. And we keep seeing signs of crisis. We have not done anything. The security actors sat here, we talk about all the arms that came into the country, including snapper. Today on Facebook, every day you see a picture and a story from one community with people who have arms for shooting whole arms. We have not even given any recommendation as to what the security sector should do. We can recommend to say those people should be disarmed, should see that gun. We see it physically, someone else walk in the police station with arms, and we have not said anything. We have not said anything. We saw what happened yesterday regardless of who is affected. And I think we have a committee here on education. They should get involved with that kind of investigation, dealing with the University of Liberia, the students, and some of the leaders that went there and see what kind of recommendations of how they can provide leadership, because there's no leadership in this case. Nobody's providing leadership when these things are happening. So I don't know if we want to make any decision, but I see the way this country is going is worrisome, because we have arms all over. Anybody can go and gather criminals and bring them and pay them to do anything they want to do, and police will not act. Anybody can go manipulate and pay those folks to come do anything they want to do, police will not act. And some of the criminals that we saw over there yesterday is worrisome, that criminals are being paid in this country to act against citizens, and we have not said anything. I hope that we not personalize the arguments, that we can make the recommendations as it is in our purview and see if the executive will act. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we are. The Senate.
And and the argument continue on Thursday.
Okay, the argument continues on Thursday.
Yeah, they will come up with a decision on Thursday.
Oh, okay. So they didn't come up. So, audience, you just heard our senators speaking. They are going to come up with a decision as to what they would like to recommend, some resolutions to this matter. I want to hear your views, starting with Salamatu. What are you thinking? Are you in agreement with some of the senators? Are you not in agreement? Any other thoughts you have?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with every senator that spoke today. Senator Conga Lawrence mentioned past incidents that has happened. As Leo likes to see, the high profile people that we remind people about. Usually these high profile cases share some light on what is happening. So, when it happened with Telia, I mean, we are so quick to forget, that they literally pour gas around the house, the building the girl was in, and they wanted to burn her in the building. And the police stood by and did nothing. Thank God for technology. We now can, we have these things on tape. Facebook can remind us. And again, with the women getting stoned, this happened in 2020. I was looking for the date and looking for some of the live videos. It happened August 22nd, 2020. We saw the police. They were the more agitators of a lot of these things that are happening. So these are all signs of, the country in trouble. Your country in trouble when your security sector, who are designated to protect the citizens, when they're the one who are literally like instigating or causing problems with the citizens. So we sit back and, we name some of our friends then we know. I mean, let leave TDA. Let's go to Cornelia in District 13. When Cornelia said, hey, look, she was chased by the city mayor. He got vexed. He said no. And I mean, we saw videos again with him, marching in the community where he had no business going, looking like he was getting ready to fight. And, we continue to say to the CDC government, you won. Why are you behaving like an opposition? You're supposed to govern. When y'all were here cussing Madame Salif, taking casket and underwear, excuse my French, nobody was looking like militant. You have won. The thing you are fighting for, you got it. Your job now is to govern. Your job now is to represent all of Liberia people. Liberian people. Your job now is to protect the Liberian people, not to fight the Liberian people. Liberian people pretty much handed you the presidency of Liberia, and this is how you're rewarding them.
Yes. Yeah. So, Matthew, you make an important point, and that point is even when people are in high profile positions, there's no action. So, I can imagine if you are in a low profile position, what happens? Okay. And
Yeah.
at least a vacuum. And I think Mr. Falcon will also address this issue for people who don't know our country, our culture, and the things that happen on a day to day basis to Liberians, at least a vacuum for people to fill in the blank as to what happened, because we never get any kind of investigation, as Leo said, any kind of independent studies or conflict resolution, and so people then just are left on their own. Mr. Fagon, anything you'd like to add on what you saw the Senate speak about today? You muted.
I was hoping they were going to play the tape from Dillon. Dillon didn't play. Dillon really wasted it in terms of how it started, how it happened, and what have you. But just listening to the senators, you can tell that they're wary, because Nyambly made it clear. Look, the other man came here, they said nobody will have gun. He marched in the police station with gun. Nothing happened. She talked about Tilia, where you see people in the video trying to burn a human being alive. Nothing happened. But I don't want to go to all those historical details. I want to look at what happened. The police station is right opposite the university campus. The university say, hey, we closing down as of 12. Nobody more can again. This man is walking from the total gas station down the hill from the police station, going towards the university campus. Hey, man. Police, you couldn't just say, hey. Y'all stop. They posted the campus closed. Y'all wait for another time. Yeah, it's the press release. Please turn back. We don't want violence. There is something called a buffer zone. Where when you see two people coming to fight, you say, nobody must pass here. And y'all coming from this side, nobody must pass here. Y'all go by the way y'all going. You create a buffer. But I'm just saying this to say that you don't need an independent investigation. There's no need for it. Because if you say there is no place for violence in our society, and you see one group of people with weapons in their hand going to attack another group, the police was established to protect and to serve. Where was the police? Now the police comes out today and say, listen, they smashed our car windshield because our car was responding to a false alarm that one of our vehicle hit one student. That big thing that happened all day yesterday, nothing about it. That because someone raised a false alarm and throw a rock on your car, this is what we need to discuss. But I will close on this note by saying, I don't want to even discuss this thing again. Okay. It is now clear from the Gloria Mususcat scenario to this scenario. If you look at what Prince Johnson said, those people, COP people, went and beat up those students. I said it here, since that day, the students then said, our campus will not be open to you again. You don't come on our campus. Because it's like, you guys control us. We went there, you beat us. So we stay on our campus, you don't come here. But not too wrong can be right. We don't need independent investigation. Someone, I am submitting to you tonight, someone broke the law. That person marched through the streets with weapons, was told that the people were afraid. They saw the press release, and they invaded a university campus, drove the students from their campus, injured them, and beat them. They should be arrested. They should be in police custody. They should be signed for now by their lawyers. They should be charged for their crimes.
Thank you.
No independent investigation in this thing.
Thank you, Mr. Fagon. Mr. Johnson, any further thoughts regarding what the senator said today?
Absolutely. And I must admit, I agree with all of what the senators Senator Frank Johnson, Senator Yamli Kanga Lawrence, even what's his name from the MDR, Kuhn, Senator Kuhn as well. But what is scary for me is these are senators speaking. It was July, the last Independence Day, that Walter Sisulu was beaten and naked to the point of death. It was July. This is March. And senators who have been elected to keep the executive in check. President Weah did not speak out on the Walter Sisulu issue, even just condemning the violence that actually happened. We haven't heard any strong position statement on it. We still haven't heard what will happen out of that. We haven't heard any hearings that invited, brought the police in, brought in people, or people being arrested and jailed and prosecuted. We haven't. So where are we when our senators are the ones coming to us and giving us this hopelessness that they themselves don't know what to do? When truth be told, there are more senators there are no more legislators in the opposition. Where is that quasi-judicial power that they are able to use to hold the chief of police or anyone, or one of their own members or two of their own members, hold them accountable in the legislature? Look, these powerful speeches are great. Admittance of the problem is great. Saying which side you on is great. But what they stop short of telling us is, what will they do? Or letting us know that they are hopeless, they can't do anything. And then in that case, these statements mean nothing. When Sisulu was beaten and naked, we heard a lot of passionate speeches about people who were against it, both in corridors of power, especially in the legislature. What happened today, Dr. Francine? Can you give me one concrete action that you know that was taken anywhere today? We don't hear of Sisulu anymore. What happened this few days again? We're hearing passionate speeches. Will we be in October again, be referencing this as one of the things that happened and nothing was done about it? I guess sometimes it's easy for us to get carried away with the instant gratification of the problem right before us. It makes it difficult for us to see the long-term solutions and putting things forward. And the final thing I would say to this, to everybody, is we can react to this particular situation, but we should be asking the questions. If nothing has been done consistently that we've seen, whether from the Senate, from the House of Representatives, especially from the legislature, if we're accusing the executive and saying all of these, then there are bigger questions to be asked. This is not just about what happened to Soup or happening on the university campus yesterday. This is about either our senators telling us they are helpless and hopeless and can do nothing about it, or they are refusing to use the quasi-judicial power that they have to mobilize each other, engage the international community, our partners, and put forth some very concrete recommendations to say, here are the 5 recommendations coming from the Senate. We are sending everywhere that must be enacted immediately by the executive. We haven't seen that. So until I can see that, I agree with the speeches and the sentiments, but more actions will actually be needed.
So Mr. Johnson is calling for actions here. He wants a recommendation that we have some actions implemented in the recommendation when the Senate get back on Thursday. They said that we'll hear from them on Thursday. I also want to hear about the judicial power you are saying, Mr. Johnson. And I remember one of the legislators coming here and said, I'm only one. I'm only one person. Sometimes I'm in favor of vote for an action-oriented conflict resolution, but then people will vote against me, so there's nothing I can do about it. So maybe they will talk to us. They will talk to us about what can they do and what can they not do. Mr. Alcine, any thoughts you'd like to add?
Well, I have a lot. Well, because time will make it brief. First, I think the Liberian National Police bear a huge chunk of the responsibility. They bear actually the greatest responsibility for allowing the violence. I think they opened a corridor for this to happen. They were in on this whole action. So they bear the greatest responsibility. Law enforcement is not only to a fighting crime. They are also there to keep the peace. So to ensure that that these kind of things do not happen, and we saw them allowing it to happen. Someone said they have become partisan police. The people already don't trust them, and when you see these things happen, you question something. The next thing is my good friend and brother saying about the legislature. I don't think. Look, our legislature is nothing like the U.S. Liberia and most African countries We may claim to have separation of power when in reality the president wield the greatest power. The president control the police. The president control the real power, and the real power is concentrated where? In those that bear the arms, the police, the army, even those legislators that just talk. All they have to do is talk. They do not have military power. There is no real division of power. In America, Donald Trump could send people to the Capitol, but there are people there to stop him. Even Donald Trump can say that he wanted to go to certain places, and the Secret Service can say, you are not going there. They did it several times. You cannot go, and he will not go. They swore an oath to serve and protect, and they will do that. So they're not afraid of losing the job because this president want to go certain place, and you say George I can say he want to drive. I saw the president driving on one occasion, and I was shocked. Most of you didn't see that video, but there's a video he drove himself to Jamaica, and I was very shocked that the president drove himself to Jamaica, and that was completely just out of the norm. So we have to understand what is at stake, what is written in the book, and the reality. The reality here is Liberia is not functioning as a shoe. Our democracy doesn't function as those countries we try to emulate. So in a perfect world, we have separation of power. The police are independent. We see senators. Have you seen senators getting by from DWI? Have you seen anybody lawmaker that will catch you? So when the justice system is that's dispensed equally, you find these things. Even lawmaker, the president can look. We saw a justice was tried and impeached for no reason, and up to now nothing have happened. Any other guys could lose their job or lose their life in our country with all the moves that they are making. Who's going to protect them? The police, Patrick Sedu, CDC police that can come. So the military, so we have to know where the power lies and blame those that actually wield the actual power in the true power in Liberia. It is concentrated in the executive. Those other people just have power in name and in document. So to blame them to believe that they can solve this problem is wrong. Go after those that wield the true power, and that is the president. So the fact that he has not said anything, the fact that he's not saying anything, the fact that he's not doing anything, it shows me or it tells me that he's condoning this thing. And pretty sooner rather than later, things will get out of control. 20 people would have died. That would have been a genocide.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hussein. My video is skipping. I don't know if you guys are experiencing what I'm experiencing.
No, well, let me check on it. On it.
I don't know what's happening to my internet system here. This is rare that this should be happening. You guys are all jumping and skipping. It's very windy over here, so I don't know if this is affecting my internet here. But I just want to go before I go to the phone lines. And before you guys make your final comments on this, I just want to say, I believe Senator Youngbley summarized everything that was being said today. She talked about how people are carrying arms in the country, suggests that there is no leadership in our country. We should be very concerned about this. She spoke about how anybody can go and gather criminal and police, and criminal and Sokos, and just pay them something, and they will then come and act in a violent way. And she asked that the education committee come out and at least address the situation that happened, the violence that happened at LU. So we'll wait until Thursday and see what they say, what they do. Leo is asking for action. Hussein and Mr. Falcone are saying, well, we have an executive power type country. The power in our country lies within the president. And so we can't really look at the legislature to say or do anything.
But
Matthew,
I beg to differ. We are behaving as such. We are ignoring the power of the other branches of government.
Exactly.
It's not that they don't have the power; they have the power. They're not using the power because
That's my point.
XYZ.
Why are they
So
not using it?
yeah, when we start saying, you know what, it all
Salomatu,
is.
you
So
think
say
if
they're not,
they,
I was here telling me say they're
no,
not
no,
getting
no,
no
What I'm
hold
saying,
on.
we need to reword what we say. All
Okay,
the
you
power
see,
that
moderate for a second. I have to step.
Yeah, no,
oh,
Salomatu,
we're
I
moderating
agree.
for a second. Oh, yeah, let's
No,
go,
let,
yeah.
that
Let's
woman
say
gave
something
it.
to
That
moderate
woman.
for
let
a
Salamatu
second.
practice.
That woman gave it to woman.
Yeah, let him
So,
practice.
Salomatu, let me
Salamatu got to
let me
practice.
just ask you one question, right? I
Yeah.
agree with your point. I'm not saying that they do not have the power. They can use it whenever they feel necessary. But what I'm saying is, imagine Prince Johnson right now. These guys go to the Senate and say, fire this person. We voted no confidence in this person. And the president, look, we saw that with Mary Bro. When they did that to Mary Bro did not lose her mayorship. She was there. The president left her there. She didn't get confirmed. That's all. I'm talking about assistant in that kind of system. Similar thing with this thing. I'm not saying that they can't do something. If they want to do it, they can do it.
Yeah,
It's
but I
just
think
that
that's what we need to
And that's the
remind
point
the
I'm actually
public.
making. Use
Yeah.
your power to do what you can
will
do.
that yield the effect?
Yeah, but at least do your part.
But
Power,
do it.
You can just
That's
do your
all we're
part.
saying. The
I'm not
fact that
saying with
you
you
have the power
effect,
to do it. Don't
but what
assume
if they do
but
it
don't be
and the
complaining to us who
president
not
choose
get no
not to do
power.
it? Not
Don't
when
to
be
they do
complaining to
it,
us.
and nothing happened, then we cross that bridge.
one other
But
thing
let
again.
them do it.
Let me get one other last point. These are people that eat up their integrity. These are people that function. You know how a friend that was in the legislature, you know what she said? She said the guys there, they are so coordinated to the point that they can even impeach you. If you don't go with what the people want, what they want to go in at, you can be an individual in that place, but you cannot have an independent mind.
So that means they have the power. They choose not to do it
Use
for
it.
different reasons.
For the
But
sake
they
of the
have the
Nigerian
power to do
people,
it.
But then they
for the sake
can't
of the
You
come and
have to
Nigerian
know
complain
how
to
it
people,
us
functions.
innocent
Then they
people.
come in, yeah, that's why I agree with
So
Leo.
come
Then you
complain to
can't
us.
complain.
for
Are you
the sake
complaining
of
on me
the
for?
Nigerian people, in this
Okay,
administration, I didn't say Toba
Yeah.
time or Tottenham time. In this
In this
administration,
administration,
how much power does the legislature have, and how much power have you guys seen on display since the inception of President Weah?
Fagon, I can give you one. When for a simple misunderstanding between you and Senator Snow, the legislature moved so quickly. The way they acted, even though you were a sitting deputy minister, they decided that they would stop at nothing but to treat you the way you were treated. That's number one.
he was
Okay,
not a
so
political.
let me give you
I
a
don't
point
care.
of
He was a
correction.
minister.
The legislature is the first branch of government. You have active power and you have inactive power. When it comes to the three separate branches of government, one is there to make the law. That's the power they have. One is there to enforce the law. That's the power the executive under the president has. One is there to interpret the law. All of what we're talking about has to do with laws. You can make the law, but then someone has to interpret it, someone has to enforce it. And under the system of the legislature, they have a quasi-judicial system that does not allow them to jail you more than 2 days. It does not allow them to fine you more than $5,000.
Can they
Now,
impeach you?
listen now, that is if you are an elected official or you come from the judiciary at the highest level. Now, the point I'm trying to make to you as with regards to their power, Leo, if they say we have a vote of no confidence in the police chief, if the president won't keep him there, like Fadiga said, you keep him there.
Keep it there.
That's
Vote
true.
of no confidence in justice minister, that's Fioko, my friend.
Yeah.
What the inactive power that they can use is to say, you know what, they're nonsense too much. Mr. President, until the police director go,
Will not pass your budget.
do not send anything here again.
Then another real power.
That power.
That's why I'm saying it's the
But,
inactive power.
but Minister Fagon, you made a very good point that I want to
Wait
stress
now.
on.
But
Finish.
Wait,
you
now
know,
what I'm
you know
saying-
what can counter that
I
power?
want to come to the one
Money.
now.
Yeah, Minister Fagon, finish.
I won't finish this part.
Yeah.
You said I want that power. Then that power you can put outside. That will make it inactive. Nobody can know about it. That only you, because it will be unconstitutional for you to make a bargain with state power in the public. But here is the thing. Like Fadiga can always preach his message. 25 people saying that in the place. They say the opposition. Now, when it's time to take the action with a friend, opposition friend, I don't know what kind of witchcraft the protein eat. What can happen there? What don't happen there? Nothing's happened. But I will say this to you: they are the fresh branch of government, and the power that they should assert should be a collective power that says, if this does not happen, that will not happen.
Just to make a quick point, Fago, to what you said.
That's not what they are doing.
The reason for a vote of no confidence is not because we believe President Weah will act on it. The reason for a vote of no confidence is sending a message to a lot of our international partners who are making decisions based on these things. We all know that. What are the sanctions? What are the withdrawal of international aid? What will happen if the legislature passes a vote of no confidence in the chief of police and send that on an international wire to all embassies in the Republic of Liberia, European Union, everybody. You can tell me, say, that means nothing, because our international partners always make it very clear that transparency, accountability. No, I'm coming. Who say that, you can make your point after. That accountability and transparency, we heard the U.S. president visiting today on international sanctions and stuff, that these things are what they are using to measure the level of effectiveness in the government. But for you to tell me, say, because we believe that their actions will not lead the president to do anything, means they might not do their own, might just forget it, they ignore it, they might just sit down there like they got no role to play. That's why I'm disagreeing. I'm like, let them use the power that they have. If the president refuses to do anything, then the Liberian people can start.
Before Saliban to take a job.
No, let me say.
You will not take more than 1 minute to answer it. Leo, you are the senator of Nimba. What would you recommend that the legislature do in this case?
The first thing I would recommend that the legislature do, the legislature would take a vote, first of all, to issue a statement of round condemnation and name who they need to name that is responsible for what happened. Number two, they will institute an immediate investigation as the Senate. The Senate should set up its own investigative team, come up with its findings, and if they have to cast a vote of no confidence, they do it. But those findings should lead to what, and any action they take should not just be limited to Liberia. They should notify all of our international partners right away. That is the extent of their power. Let them use it so that we can see, because some of the other people like civil society actors.
No, the two things you will do, right?
Then civil society actors can take those reports and start to use it to make the cases that they are making.
Okay, so that the two things you will do. How is that different from the one they put winner?
It's different because we never seen any of the things that I just said.
What
Sisulu was beaten since July. Show me what has been done with what I said.
Yesterday, you were in the Senate yesterday.
No, you're not answering my question, Fagon. Since July, Walter Sisulu was beaten to the point of death. What has happened since then?
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Give me 30 seconds.
Let me
all the CDC, COP people.
Go to the phone line.
Charge them.
Let me say this. Let me say this point.
I said from the legislature.
Mr. Johnson, let Mr. Paco say his point. Mr. Singh will say his point, and then we're going to go to the phone line.
That's what I wanted to say, Mr. Johnson.
That's a delay coming. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Mr. Johnson,
you're fine, Dr.
We have three separate branches of government. The Constitution is clear. In simple English, you cannot do your friend's job. The police arrested CDC COP talks that did that to Sisulu. They charged them and they sent them to court. That matter closed. The non-legislative matter now is for the judiciary. The executive did that. But what it come out, nothing. Then we fast forward now. Nothing. Whatever investigation I leave it with Al Hussein, nothing. So what thing we saying here?
You see,
it's three separate branches of government. My argument is, and everyone got a thing to do. The executive is not doing their thing.
Thank you.
Mr. Hussein has been trying to say something.
Yeah. What I'm about to say is this. Sometimes, even in an argument, two things can be the same. I think we are saying the same thing from different angles. I'm not discounting the fact that it is the legislature responsibility to make those actions. Those are not, in a perfect world, those things will happen. Why is it not getting done in Liberia? There is a good reason why. Our democracy is not functioning like what we have. I know in a perfect world we want to compare with the US, but that is not how things work in our legislature. So it's easy for us to say it should be this way, but we need to look at the reality, how it is functioning now. So you can say this: the lawmakers should put this, make this, and do that, do that. Let me tell you something. In the legislature, we have more opposition lawmakers than even the CDC. The UP alone has the most lawmaker, the United Party alone. Next before CDC and then all the other people, if you look at the legislative makeup. But whatever the president wants done, he get it done. And there is a good reason why. These guys went in there to enrich themselves. When it comes to financial inducement, nothing gets done. It is all politics. So if you're looking at them to get things done and you blaming them for things, they will not get it done. Even if they were to say, make some statement, like usually if I'm going to say, it will go back in the cycle, get stuck somewhere there, and nothing gets done.
Can I take my 30 seconds, Dr. Richardson, quickly?
Yes, yeah, 30 seconds, and then we're going to circle back to Salamatu to make our last comment before we go to the phone lines.
So if we go by the analogy, you guys...
We're going to play that too, Salamatu.
Please, Mr. Johnson speaking. Let's protect Mr. Johnson.
don't mind me this up. So if we go by the analogy being made right now, that in Liberia, and I let America, and I let the West, why when the U.S. ambassador make these recommendations, we can clap and share the result everywhere or what needs to be done. But number two, if we're sitting on this platform and saying our country is in a bad shape and it needs to move to a better place, but in the same vein, telling the person, but you know what, the Liberia, so they got to talk in and separate the Liberian way.
No, I don't think you understand it. No,
that's what I'm saying. I will say, let me just finish. Because we keep going back to the country that our America or the country that our the West. No, it's not the West, but we also agree that it's in a very bad shape. But let me say this clearly about the legislature. I'm saying to you, the problem we are having in Liberia, whenever something happens, instantly we all react. The anger, the raw emotions. Nobody goes down to do the difficult work of saying what needs to be done for us to ensure that this situation will never be repeated. So when we are in this perpetual cycle. Right now, we see the passionate speeches coming from the Senate. I'm not asking the Senate to go prosecute anybody. That's not their job. What can the Senate do to say, you know what? We need to put in place new measures as the legislators to prevent another one of this happening. What does Isulu happen on July? We saw what happened. Nothing happened. They won't happen again yesterday. Everybody will be passionate and angry and react immediately. Another 6 months down the road, we'll come back to the same place. So all
they can do, even in the West, that's what they do.
My brother, I'm coming. So all I'm saying to all of us, if we're going to hold our government accountable, the executive should be held accountable. The legislature is a part of the government. The judiciary is a part of the government, President. We are a crew, should be held accountable.
That will only work if they have control over the police.
Let me finish.
If they don't have control over the police, how can they if their voice be even powerful? We do not have an independent police.
And I think can approve the budget to pay the police salary and to get all the police money that they need to get, number one. But number two, if you're saying nothing can work, then why are we wasting our? Let's just sit there and let the country go the way it can go. Say we all agree that nothing can work. We should not waste our time doing anything because all the people that are there, we actually cannot trust them. Then let's not be here.
Okay, I'm going to circle back to Salamatu to have the final word on what we were talking about. Go ahead, Salamatu. Do you have any final word before we go to the phone line?
For me, I always have a problem when people say, you know what, nothing can happen simply because we have gotten used to the way things are. All of us here, we do understand that they are not doing their jobs. They have a job. Whether their job is the final straw, whether their job that part of in the middle of the final straw, whether the job that in the beginning, they all have a part to play in governing Liberia. They are not doing anything. So therefore, the executive has the executive branch now grows on a big wings here now. So they feel powerful. And then we, the citizens, were saying, well, you know what can they do? They legislature, if they try it, said nothing will happen. That's not how it works. You do your part. If it doesn't, nothing good come out of it, at least you did your part. They're not doing their part. The speeches were great. It was great. We all got goosebumps. We're saying, yeah, we agree with everything they're saying. But this is where it starts and this is where it ends. So if they don't have any power, then as Leo said, I do agree with him, then you let's shut the country down and let go. Every time the international community write a letter, people can be saying, oh, they can write letter too much. Nothing happening, they can write letter too much. Sanctions were coming for the past 3 years. That by the time we start hearing sanction, I used to get vexed. I said, but why they can bring the sanction here? It's stuck somewhere because the people do the due diligence. Every agency has a role to play in the sanction. The embassy on a role that not to come and arrest people. All they do, they gather the information and they put a statement out. That was their job. They put statement out, they talk, they put statement out while other people were doing their different jobs, right? Once the other people did their jobs and they issued a statement, the embassy announced the statement. So everybody has have a role to play. Even the citizens, we're sitting back, we're complaining. We also can do something. No, maybe we can't go grab the police chief and arrest him. No, we may not be able to grab one of the senators or representative and have them arrested. However, we are signatories. So I will keep repeating it because every time I talk to a lawyer, I talk to an international lawyer or advocate, they always remind me that, you know what, you're playing fun with those people. There's international courts, there's international laws. And I think our major problem in Liberia is that we like instant gratification. We want things to happen just like that. When you are on the right side of the law, it takes longer to get. When you're on the wrong side, things can happen fast because you're not playing by any rule. You're not playing by any rule. But the people who are on the right side of the law, it takes time because they are playing. They're playing by the rules. So when we say take somebody to the international court, it's not happening today, it's not happening tomorrow, it may not happen next year, but people will not be in power forever. So you start the process now so they understand that you understand your rights and your responsibility and that they can check themselves. Or the next person who coming into office, they can know that, you know what, these people mean business. But all of us, the citizens, all the branches of government, we all have a part to play in order to make it work.
Yes, we gotta go to our phone line. So Liberians, the Senate is supposed to come back to us on Thursday to tell us what Leo is suggesting, what Salamatu is suggesting. We want some action steps to this conflict resolution, okay? And I think, Salamatu, if I can add, you Liberians, you got a role to play in this. You can do something. You can vote them out. You can go to court. That's another choice. Or you can vote them out as they come around for elections. So let's go to the phone lines. Let's hear our Liberians, what you have to tell your legislature, and then we'll go to our closing comments. Nelson, let's listen to Liberians. What do they have to tell the legislature or the executive branch? We have, we heard from the legislature today, the legislators today, and we have not heard from our leader, the president. What do they expect from the president, if anything?
Okay, so to the folks out there, you can call now, put forward your calls on the number 0555-101075 or 0777-71075, and you'll be live on the program tonight. Let's take our first call. Hello, you live. Good evening. Okay, we take this person. Good evening.
Hello.
Please walk away from your monitor. Go ahead.
My name is Joe calling from Kuru.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
I want to appreciate Minister Falcon for a job well done. And when I expect nothing from the president because the president been able to us for the past years now. So nothing we expect to hear from him. Yeah, I personally get it, so nothing we get to hear from him.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Secretary Johnson calling for Lower Johnson.
Go ahead, sir.
My take here, the problem with this country is our constitution needs to be revisited. And law and our constitution cannot be reformed to be will always be difficult for all. We need to visit the Constitution and try to reduce the power of the presidency. And by so doing, I think we something. That's my
Thank you.
take. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You live. Let's hear you.
Okay, my name is Andrew Subani Matari.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yesterday, everything that happened, I saw it. President Weah was at the mansion. Where he goes, maybe once or twice a month. I'm a living evidence because I'm a traffic man. President Weah, all he had to do was call Honorable Gray. Honorable Gray, what were you doing? Don't go over there. He never did it.
Okay.
I'm not finished.
Okay, just wrap up, sir, so we take other colors.
There was no, we couldn't go in front of him. We couldn't even pass in the mansion. After Honorable Gray left, after Yaga Kolba left, that President Weah left the mansion. He, the Gray, should be accounted for. The Senate should call him. Then he pay for every damages that have been.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution tonight. Let's take this person. Good evening. You live. Hello? So we take this person. Good evening. Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. You live.
I'm James from calling from West.
Okay. Let's hear you.
They are asking your studio guest or your panelist. A black man and a woman. There are two people who went to vote for the election. Which one will you vote for? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that guy. I didn't hear him. What did he say,
I
Nelson?
think his comment is what?
He announced the number.
Okay, so he was asking, he said Liberians will be going for election, the visually impaired person and the person who doesn't talk. They are the two category of people they will be voting for.
Hello?
Okay, hello, you live.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say good evening to the panelists. This is Bobby Abu Meska, a from District 6 and SD Copper Road. Let me appreciate the panelists this evening for the show and the discussion. Listen, we have a kind of president in Liberia that he does not even care for the citizens. The first native father, this president does not care for the citizens. Because look at what happens to the former Chief Justice. Does the president ever one day on his Facebook page to even send a condolence message to that woman? And even what happened yesterday on the university campus, there is no message the president has sent or no communication from him to show that President Weah condemned the actions yesterday from Gray. But this thing we know it is playing something for the government. Just to deviate our mind from the Grand Muslim kids and so we can focus on the university students. That is the reason you saw people that honorable grade went on that campus yesterday, carry on violent, and a lot of people were wounded yesterday. People lost their material things. Hey, that's a lot. Gray is an honorable man. What must he do such a thing to denigrate our country to the outside world? Do you know how many international journalists were there yesterday? If our House of Representatives was zero, people like Gray shouldn't even be in session today. Gray must be taken to the police station to answer questions. Because when we get no place to read something on it, it shows very well that people like Gray instigating violence in the country. So he must be answering questions. That's what we expect from the police right now. If we have a serious police director in the country, Gray should be answering questions for the act that went on there yesterday. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother, for your contribution.
Hello, wait.
Yeah, hello. Please reduce the volume of your radio.
That's Stevie S. Mayan calling from Morris's Farm.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I just want to make every time I try to get on Spoon Network, it's difficult for me. But I'm grateful today that I'm on Spoon Network. Let me tell you, in every country of the world, before you can develop, country can develop because of education. So we believe that Liberia is not reformed in education. The government is not reformed. The people surrounding the government, they are not reformed. So we continue to support. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution tonight. Let's take this person. Hello, you live.
Nelson.
Okay.
Nelson, I want to go into the rest of the panelists and those in radio men.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Well, thank you so much. Nelson, I want to appreciate you. And let me first start by saying this. You see, Nelson, until we can revisit our Liberian constitution. But before I go forward, this is my cutting positive, and I'm joining you from Monrovia this evening. If we are to move this country down, then we need to revisit the constitution that gave so much power to the presidency. We got three branches of government, but the president overshadowed or supersedes all of the remaining two branches of government. The legislature, they are the first branch of government, but because they are rubber stamp and they are belly driven, most of them, that's the reason why the president controls them. We got a speaker who is a physician, we got a president who is a physician, we got someone at the Liberian National Police who is a CDC police. So if you're having the president appointing and having influence over all of the other sectors, then how you expect, and they are working in the will and pleasure of the president, how you expect for the country to yell it, for people to yell it to execute their duties as insurance of them? Until we can revisit them, Liberia is going on honestly. The people at the terrorist places, they are not coming. Things go on in this country, we see a broad daylight. Police come up with a lie and fake reports. For how long will continue to be like this? We saw the incident that occurred. Most of the secret killings are going on. At the end of the day, the police come up with some reports. They are all fake reports. They are all lies. Even the common man, you read that kind of report to them, they will not believe you. So we stop this kind of thing. We should start to work in the interest of the people. What the civil war in this country? That their satisfaction. When the citizens start losing confidence in the judiciary sector, then the people can go on the rampage. And we do not want to go back there. If this country is to grow, then we all as Liberians always need to think positive and put Liberia first about self-interest. Because together, we all will still make this country great again.
Thank you.
Have a pleasant night.
Thank you very much. We take the final caller now. Hello, you live.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, this is Ansu Bamba calling from New Georgia Estate.
Ansu, go ahead.
Okay, I want to say thank you to Falcon for his brilliant knowledge and experience he can bring to the show. But I also want to make something clear. When this government took over 2018, the first thing the president said to us, my people, y'all, thank you, yeah. That was very long and it got different interpretation. Now the song the people singing, they call it us children of a lesser God. And now they are treating us like children of a lesser God. The only difference we can make here is October 10th, 2023, to save our country and to save our children and unborn children's future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna take about maybe 5 calls from Liberians in the diaspora. Hussein, would you like to give your number or anybody else on this platform who, until we work out our number situation, we're working. I have to find time to just get a Google number or so.
Hussein, you're on mute if you are talking.
Rim had the number there. Hold on, let me.
Okay.
I don't even see how you can put a number.
Just say verbally.
Well, you can call 763 273 7253.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any callers yet?
No, not yet. Again, I'll repeat the number is 763 273 7253.
But you can be putting the comment on the screen. Why you can put that number on the screen? Who
Yeah,
get
please
technology? They can be
please
around
bear
with
with us. We are working on
763.
Well, I got one already.
As soon as if I go here peak, they will put it on the
Hello,
screen.
caller, your name and where you calling from? Falcon, we got one call.
Hey, my name is Stanley. I'm calling from South Carolina.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, Liberia is very unsafe now to the point that I was just in Liberia like 2 months ago. Even starting at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you tell a motorbike man say you're going off the road. Like your house is literally like maybe a minute drive from the main street. They will tell you they're not going in there because why? They don't feel safe. Either somebody gonna, whether you got good plans or not, they assume that everybody is bad because the country is just unsafe. You can't 7 o'clock. You can't even see firemen. Some firemen will tell you they're not running anymore. Why? Because they don't feel safe to even leave the main road to go 30 seconds down the street. They will not do it. So Liberians should just vote right. Coming October, that's the only way out. But if you're waiting for this government to do the right thing, then maybe just Jenny Robertana, he will come by and
All right, man. Thank you so much. Let's take another call. Well, I just missed 3 calls. The call's still coming. One more call coming. You said 5, right?
Will you please call?
Caller your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Go ahead.
Let me go right into it. Look, Liberian people, 2023 is right. It's right here. October is right around the corner. You have a unique opportunity to get the leadership you deserve. Let me tell you this. 2017, Liberian people planted arrow, but they expected to harvest potato. No. You actually got the president. We are what you are getting. And that's not going to change. And the only way we can change this is for you people to go down there in October and get him out. That's it. Thank you.
No problem. Caller your name and where you calling from.
Allison, this is Clarence still calling from Arlington, Texas. How are you?
Go ahead.
Listen, first of all, Dr. Francine and to the rest of the staff, thank you guys for carrying on Spoon. Great show as always. Very great show. But more importantly, if one of you guys can answer, and this is for Fabian actually, is there an internal affair division in the police department in Liberia? Because within the department here and the worldwide, they have check and balances. They check themselves. And Liberia police, obviously they bear a bulk of the blame, not just in this incident, but like the previous caller said, in a lot of things that goes around in Liberia, especially for our citizens. Is there an internal and fair division that can investigate a lot of the corrupt practices, a lot of these things that keep going on and keeps happening in our police department?
Thank you so much. We will answer that. Let me just take another call. I don't think so, but let me take another call. Caller your name and where you calling from.
Hey, my name is Alexander Peters. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me say thanks to every one of you on the platform. You guys are doing a great job. Regarding of what happened yesterday, and then some, like what I was listening to the senators, they're gone. Everything that happening, the president aware of it, and when the president was even senator in Denver, even became president, he's also a president now, he's still a global person. The gun issue, since then, they said they were doing investigation on the gun issue. Just 2 days ago, we saw a video from Zubata or where without seeing sniper that they caught from 2 guys. Where are those guns that they say they have an investigation for? Since that we haven't heard anything. So, guys, we got to just pray to God and just give like glory to God. That's all.
Thank you so much. One more call. Caller your name and last call.
Yes, last call. Let that caller come.
Caller your name and where you're calling from.
Thank you. My name is Chengse Gibson, and I call you from Minneapolis.
Hold on 1 second. Go ahead. Oh, I think I lost that call. Caller your name and where you calling from.
Thank you very much. My name is Emmanuel Yuma. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Go ahead. You got, yeah. This is the last call.
Yes. Just a very, just few minutes. There are so many lot of issues in the country to the extent that we don't know where to start from. Since this government took over, there has been a lot of issues ranging from bad governance to killing, unsolved murders, inconclusive investigation. There are a lot of things happening in the country. And this is what I can say. Liberians, we have only one option. This election is very critical, very crucial to to the restoration of democracy in Liberia. I think Liberians have to take the election very seriously by going to the polls. First, we need to register to vote. That's the first process. Liberians will register to vote and go on October 11th to change the system.
Okay.
It's October 10th. Thank you.
And the government is still in power. The issues will still continue to be in the country.
Thank you so much.
We need to vote on October 10th to get rid of this government.
Thank you
very much for giving me the time.
There's a Elizabeth calling. I think it's a female.
Yes, I will make an exception for that.
Yeah, let me see.
Look at the way she answered. Yes.
I hope it's a female. Hello, caller, your name and where you calling from?
I'm actually calling from Maryland.
Oh Lord.
But that's okay.
Hey man,
oh, just crazy. Go ahead, my man. Go ahead.
Man, it's smart. I'll be using women names to call.
Don't care for Liberian people. If you look at
Hold on, we're getting a person got called. Let me tell you what. Call your name and where you calling from. This is the last call. I finished. This is a WhatsApp call that kept calling back to back. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi.
Be quick though. You got 1 minute.
Okay, yeah. Hi, my name is Alexander calling from the United Kingdom. Yeah, I just want to say thanks to you guys for the great job you're doing. But first of all, I just want to say we have to be very careful. Liberian time has come out. They need to open their eyes to see, to vote for the person who's supposed to deliver our country. At the moment, the government, they're not working at all. For example, what happened yesterday, right in the nose of the Liberian National Police headquarters. All that happened yesterday, right in their nose. And nothing happened yesterday. No one sent police to try to defuse the situation. And up to now, Akaobi had not been brought to book for what he did yesterday to the Liberian young people at the University of Liberia. So I just want Liberians to open their eyes to see before they vote, let them know who they're voting for. But on earth, we remain into what we are going through right now. Liberian, we don't have government. And we need to put a leader in power, not what we have now. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go.
Yes.
Because
I know, right? Now,
I mean, yeah. Oh no.
I am working on getting a phone system for us. Just bear with me.
If you're not female, we'll get to the call. No,
yes,
I can't say not female.
Yes. I like to encourage Liberian women to please call, both Liberian women at home and in the diaspora. Please be a part of this conversation because you make up a large, almost 50% of our population, and your voice is very important. I don't want to take up much time. We're going to go straight into our closing. We're going to do our usual Salimatu, Mr. John.
Run away.
Hussein, she's hearing me, I'm sure. Hussein, and then I will say my thoughts, and then Mr. Falcon will take us home. So Salimatu, would you please come on and give us your closing? If not, we'll circle back to Mr. Johnson, and then we'll come back to you when you come on, and then we'll go to Hussein.
You know what? Anytime you put Leo before me, you know I can want to also the conversation can soon.
So sure. What do you want to do? You want to
go ahead. I like it that way.
Let him go.
I like to big it bring. No, let him make go ahead.
I ain't got a problem.
No, remember that I was switching alternate now.
I was switching out sometimes. Say I know they make a bit targeting me.
I was switching.
I just let him pull your legs sometimes.
No, I will say this. I think for the last 5 years, I've been making a call. A few callers have really come on strong here tonight. I've been on the record for saying, as long as we have a corrupt constitution, you cannot expect a good governance process to come out of a document that is innately corrupt. The intent of our constitution was always not in the right place. For the entire history of Liberia, never have we drafted a constitution that was genuinely a civic engagement in the interest and duty of all Liberians, whether it was the 1986 or the previous versions of them. Article 97 of the Constitution says, no member of the People's Redemption Council can ever be prosecuted by any court of law in the Republic of Liberia or the whole world for any crimes they were committing, and it including overthrowing, they use the actual terminology, including overthrowing the government of the day. It goes beyond to say any actions they took, including murders, executions, everything, none of them can ever be held liable in any court of law. It is in your constitution today. I'm just naming one. The second piece is the Liberian constitution says a dual legal system. And the official Western judicial system we have in Monrovia, the Temple of Justice, and customary law. But what we did, we intentionally undermined. Go to Louis Arthur Graham School of Law. Do you know any Liberian lawyer that takes customary law? No, nobody. So what we've done, we've alienated almost 70% of the country living outside of urban areas who predominantly rely on customary laws to govern their day-to-day affairs. We've neglected it. So a corrupt constitution cannot produce a proper governing system. So there's a mismatch. Until we can get to the root cause of the problem, we will continuously have leaders who can manipulate it, override it, use it in ways that they find necessary. And my final comment to that will be for many Liberians. We all pray to God every day that Liberia should get better. We all have agreed that where we are is not okay. So when people be saying, oh, you're telling the person in the country, they're not Canada, they're not America, they're not here, except that the standards we can point to when small thing happen, that we wish our judicial system was like the United States. And we wish our rule of law was like the United States, was enforced like the US. So some of us who are not before the war, were not BB people, that ain't no plenty. We suffer too much when we knew ourselves our war were in the country, so we don't take it lightly. We will continue to look for good examples across the world, whether it's in other African countries or in Western countries, and start to exemplify it so that if nobody else listens to us, at least our children can listen to us, so that one day there will be people who believe that things can be better. We all can accept doom, that nothing can be done, the country will go nowhere. So let them leave it, let it scatter, so that when the people who want to move from there, move from there. That's what we did in 1990. 1980, we moved over, there was no plan. 1990, we moved door, there was no plan. Charles Sedokina, he removed. We just been going on this thing that the thing's so bad that we can do nothing about it. We might just accept it. Some of us, we refuse. So thank you, everybody. It's been a great time, and we'll keep pushing the agenda.
Thank you, Liberians. Mr. Johnson is calling our constitution corrupt. He believes it needs to be revisited. The researcher in me we got up my brain provoking, like going like this, and we'll come back with this discussion. So I hope you are thinking like I'm thinking. Grab your constitution and look at it. Mr. Salamata, I want to circle back to you. I had called your name earlier. You're on a break. Any thoughts? Final thoughts?
Did you say Mr. Salimatu?
No. Sorry, I said Salimatu.
Salimatu, the advocate on the show.
Mr. Alcine, and then I realized that Salimatu is here. Yes, I'm not saying Mr. Salimatu Fakon. A lot of people asking for Salimatu no more, so they know she's not Mr. Yo. But I'm telling you, Salimatu is here.
Salimatu's full sport.
Thank you.
No, my internet is a little. The wind was blowing a little bit, but let me say this.
Your phone spoil. Your SIM
my phone number, my number. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, my number spoil.
Finish with that. Go ahead.
I would just stick with what I believe. Nothing will happen because when citizens become complicit, that's how government continue to grow more powerful, and they will continue to abuse your rights. So we all have a part to play. Pick your part and play. Don't sit down and be so complicit. Don't sit down and think that, in order to rebuild Liberia in a manner where we all would like to live, that is going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. We didn't take one day to destroy Liberia. We are one of the oldest, Ethiopia always claimed they're the oldest, but we are the oldest nation in Liberia. We got our big draws on, big boys draws on, and behave as such. But I told Leah one time that we'll go back to this constitution. I always say, why do people want to change the constitution? We seem to like to break things down, and we can't build. That has been Liberia's Dawa MO. We move in, what we go into a new job in Liberia, and I've seen it. And the first thing we want to do, we want to fire everybody. We want to redo the policy, but we can't implement. We don't know how to repair things. Instead of voting for the right person based on the issues, we vote on what? Popularity, right? Yeah. Instead of holding people accountable, instead of creating laws that will protect all citizens regardless of their tribe, we are celebrating people who are creating division. Huh? Instead of holding people accountable, we are celebrating a lot of the people who cause out who killed so many people in Liberia. But yet, the first thing we say, oh, you know what, let's run back to the Constitution. And don't get me wrong, the Constitution is not the most beautiful document, but the whole goal of the Constitution was to help guide the country as we were building a nation. As a Liberian American, I live in America, probably more so than I live in Liberia. I never knew that, I was such a minority until I came to America as a child. I didn't know my skin color will prevent me from doing so many things until I came to America. America is one of the greatest equalizer, greatest country in the world, but they have this constitution that wasn't created to protect people of my skin color. But nevertheless, the people like me, they didn't come and say, you know what, let erase the whole constitution. They looked at the constitution, they saw the laws in the constitution, and it made it work for us. I look at Liberia and I always go back, I say, what have we created to protect all tribes? What have we done to make sure that every tribe, everybody from every culture, they're protected? We haven't done anything. We just complain until we are able to go pay for our elections. We can't even afford to pay for election. Until we can pay for election, let's pay for 2 elections in a row. Then we might touch constitution. Other than that, Leo, my brother, me and you will not be sitting to the table trying to create a constitution that is inclusive. You will still have powerful people sitting down. You will still have people creating a document that only protects their interests. So for now, that lead constitution business, let's focus on the human being we have that destroying Liberia. And 2, let's pay for our election. We can't even afford, we ain't even got a pot to piss in, and we're not jump to the constitution. Let's go pay for the elections. I hope tomorrow we talk about this new registration system, because it just looks like a open invitation for cheating come October. So with that said, thank you.
Thank you, Salamatu. We'll go to Mr. Ah Hussein.
Shots fire for Salamatu.
We'll go to Mr. Ah
At least
Hussein.
you can't blame me for that one. When it comes from a female, then at least we know that I'm safe on the other side.
You not say the toilet here will still come out of you.
On a serious note, I think we are all saying the same thing, but from different angle. We do understand the function of the legislature. Like I say, in the perfect world, they should be. I'm not saying that we should not hold them accountable. I'm looking at what is possible, and because honestly, in order to change that system, we need to get the right leadership in. And if we continue to go by what we have right now, anything else that we think might happen or could happen in Liberia is just a dream. Until we can get the right leadership. Look at the police, for example. Look at the police. The police have become partisan. Look how they mishandle several cases. How can you trust a partisan police? We have seen police under their watch. Citizens die. Citizens die from speaking up. Citizens are terrified. Citizens are brutalized. Even the legislature that we are talking about are living at the mercy of those same police that are controlled by the executive. That is what I'm saying. So it's like they have the news around their neck themselves. Yeah, they may be blabbing things that today in the legislature, which is what it's supposed to be doing. But like I say, I would go for in the how they call it thing, in the national criminal justice system, they usually they say will go after those that bears the greatest responsibility, because everybody cannot bear equal responsibility for this. There are those that have more power and are not using it. I think those people should be blamed. Until we can get a red leadership in there, we're still far from this thing. And it is unfortunate what happened. It shouldn't have happened. And, you know, people can give all something, oh, you're going to have dinner. How many times? We all know it was provoked. All the lawmakers said it. It was not even partisan in there. People said it. They said that this should have not happened. So what will be the next course of action? They have few. They can pass legislation, they can do a vote of no confidence. But we saw what happened during the Sirleaf administration when they didn't want Madame Bro, who was brutalizing people, even though she gets some job done. But it shouldn't be done that way. What happened? Madame Bro stayed as how to call the thing, city mayor for as long as she wanted. So it just shows who wield the greatest power. Other people are just talk up, but there are people who actually have the power to do something and make things happen. If we are not going after those people, until we can get a perfect democracy, we have to work with what we have. In conclusion, if we're not dealing with holding those people accountable, I don't think anything will get done. Maybe October will put some sense in our head. If we get the right people in there, vote the right people in, then we won't have this problem to deal with.
Thank you. I'm going to just say a few words, and then Mr. Fagon is going to take us home. I want to thank my audience, Liberians in Liberia, Liberians around the world, for joining us. We truly appreciate you here. All of the callers, we thank you for your contribution. And of course, my panelists, I just love your thought-provoking presentation that you bring to the show. When I leave this show, sometimes the reason why I stay up all night, I'm thinking about some of the things that you're saying, and having some internal arguments of myself. Like some of the things like Mr. Leo Johnson, only year you hear him say our constitution is corrupt, and he gave us specific examples. He gave you something for you to chew on. Okay, we have Salamatu say until we can have a union that is perfecting to be strong, that will be inclusive of everybody. And then Ah Hussein is just here to tell us that who bears the greater responsibility in our country. He is saying not the lay people, not the people who they are arresting, and I'm just putting words in your mouth right now.
Yeah, close. Yeah.
Not the people who they are now arresting, but other people, like people who are lawmaking and people who have responsibility, leadership responsibility. I believe that the greatest owner of responsibility, the greatest responsibilities are on our leaders in the country. Where are they? They're not speaking. Okay, when you are in the position of leadership, like I said yesterday, there's certain responsibility that comes with that. One is peacemaking, one is conflict resolution, one is communication. Okay, until you do all of those things, until whether it's George Weah's government, whether it's the government to come, whether it's previous government, leadership is very important. Okay, you cannot be a leader and act like the people that you lead at the same time. Okay, so having said that, October 10th, as many of the callers said, I want to join you. I want to join your voice to say that you have the choice right now. Tomorrow, I'm not going to be up. I'm sure Mr. Fago will take this up. There's a registration process that has been floated around. You go and register to vote and vote. You have a choice in this. You have a citizen responsibility in this matter. You can vote out the people who are causing you headaches, violence, poor education, lack of medication in your clinics, and no job. You have the power to do that. Mr. Falcon, I'm going to circle back to you to please take us home on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and thank you to all my fellow panelists. Thank you to the people of Liberia. The first thing I like to say is that on Thursday, when Mr. Gray made this statement, and I like the fact that James Goodday Flomo put up a picture. This picture I'm putting up is to show you that we have reached a point in our country where the chicken seems to be passing by their business, and the dog is still waiting for news on what is supposed to happen. He still wants to hear what will happen with all the cases. This photograph will be used by me throughout my time until election day. The chicken does not care what you care about why he crosses the road. And the dog is still waiting for news. I'm saying this to say that Mr. Gray, General Gray, not Representative Gray, General Gray will be arrested in 2024 before February 20th. I want people to write this down on a piece of paper that he will be arrested in 2024 before February 20th for his invasion of the University of Liberia campus with thugs, leading to the damage of properties as well as the injuries sustained by all of the people that his violent action brought on the people at the university, the faculty, the staff, the public, and what have you, including our law enforcement officers. Having said that, the reason why I say so is because when he made the threat, everyone that knows themselves best talked Mr. Gray out of not going. We have several screenshots to that effect. There was no school on Saturday or Sunday. On Monday, the university put up a release. And by 1 o'clock, Mr. Gray ignored the release and the plead for him to discontinue. And he attacked the university campus. The records are there. On the issue of the Constitution, I agree with Leo, I agree with everyone else. But the law is very clear, and the law is the law. How is it that the first thing Mr. Gray would do was to take over the principal streets with thugs brandishing weapons, and our law enforcement officer will not even stop him to say, look, get on the sidewalk. This is meant for the public. You are not protesting. Where was the justice minister who said that in order for you to protest, you need what? You need a permission to do so. So Gray again was not protesting. He went and obstructed traffic. He obstructed normal flow of business. He moved out there. At the police station, the Capitol building is there. The police station is there. The executive mansion is there. The president could see. The speaker could see. The pro tem and the police RG. Nobody stopped him. Is there not a law that says that we cannot take the law in our own hands? So if Gray could not go on the campus, could he not ask police why? Why did Mr. Gray not use the legal system? Why did he take the law into his own hands? I close by saying in the next 30 seconds, if you cannot win in Lofa, and you have sold our resources in the western region of Bapolu, Cape Mount, and Bomi, if you cannot win in Bong, and you will not win in Nimba, you definitely cannot win Magibi with Tanapol and Nukwe. And you know within yourself that you cannot battle Nyombli, Jonathan Kaipe, Basil Finley, Charlene Bromsky, Daniel Chier, and Louis Brown in Paso. And you certainly will not win Monserrato. Start preparing to rig the elections. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you cannot win in those areas, again, if you cannot win there, say goodbye to the presidency and all those that are misbehaving now. Prepare yourself for real justice in 2024. I respectfully submit. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you. Thank you, panelists. Thank you. Good day. And thank you, Nelson Kule. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.
5:49.
No.
Well, folks, we want to say thanks a lot for your contribution tonight to the program Spoon Talk. Thanks to all of you who followed. The invitation is yours to join us tomorrow, same time, for another fascinating edition of the program. Until that time, I'm Nelson Collier. James Goode Floma has been in the background as well, been producing together. Have for yourselves a good night. Bye-bye.